Hello, second years. We're having a look at triangles today. So, first thing we're looking at is how are we going to name this triangle. We're not going to call him Bob, we're not going to call him Jack, we're not even going to call him Emma. We're going to use the three letters that are on this triangle. He can be called A, B, C, or you can say triangle ABC, or this little draw triangle ABC. You could be CAB, either, same thing, just so long as you have the three letters written there. Notice they are capital letters, so you're going to use capital letters as well. Okay, so let's look at some of the things that you might expect to see when you're looking at triangles. If you see lines like this, one line on each side, that means all three sides are the same length. Okay, or if you've two that have lines, they're the same length. Okay, so that means that side is the same length as that side, the third side is a different length. Or if you look here, if you mark three angles with the same mark, that means they're the same size. Here we've two angles marked with the same mark, so they're the same size. That means this third angle is different. Now, it says here that triangles are usually divided into three types. Actually, I like to say there's four if we look at them properly. There's an equilateral triangle, all sides are the same length, and all angles are 60 degrees. You need to know this off by heart. The next one is an isosceles triangle. Two sides are the same length and two angles are the same size. So here we have two sides that are the same, and these two angles, the angles that are opposite, are the same length. Then we have a scalene triangle. No sides are the same length, no angles are the same. And then the fourth type of triangle is a right angle triangle, and that means one of the angles here is a 90-degree angle, which is a right angle, and the side across from that is called the hypotenuse. Look at how it's spelled, Hypotenuse. Get used to that word. You will hear that word a lot for the next 4 or 5 years. Hypotenuse. What is the hypotenuse? The hypotenuse is the side across from the right angle in a triangle. Okay. Now, here we have a theorem which just says exactly what we saw in one of the diagrams up there, is that in an isosceles triangle, the angles opposite the equal sides are equal in measure. Very confusing. What's that saying? Saying that if this side is equal to this side, then that angle's opposite, and that angle is opposite, so those two are equal. So if you have an isosceles triangle, two sides are the same and two angles are the same. And another way of saying it is, if you have two angles in a triangle that are the same, then it's an isosceles triangle. So basically we're saying the same thing two ways. If you have two sides the same length, it's an isosceles triangle, and then the two angles underneath are the same. And if you have two angles that are the same, it's an isosceles triangle, and the sides opposite are the same length. Now, that's all the notes you have for today. Now we're just looking at the questions. So draw this in as best you can. It's an isosceles triangle. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as you draw an isosceles triangle. You see, no, actually that's an equilateral triangle. Sorry. Draw that in. So just make sure that you draw a triangle where the three sides are the same length. This is an isosceles triangle, so you draw an isosceles triangle into your copy. This is a scalene triangle that you will draw into your copy. And then you'll draw each of these in and you will measure them. And what else do you have to do? Identify it. So you draw it in. I want you to measure the angles on each of them as well. And then underneath it write what kind of a triangle it is. All nice and neatly done. Thank you.